Good day. I'm here making a YouTube video because of the video I made the other day about taking time to talk to the camera to build up confidence. It's been crazy with a hurricane coming to Orlando. Both my kids, I shouldn't say both, but Dennis homeschools, so he can take off anytime he wants or whatever, I don't have to. But Orange County School District, which is the district we're in, was out of school. Monday being a holiday, Tuesday they got off, today's Wednesday they got off. My daughter goes to Faith Assembly and they are back in school today, and my wife is back at work. But my work allowed me to be off for Tuesday and Wednesday. So I've been trying to take advantage of that and get some work done, doing some editing, taking pictures, and making videos. And my dog wants outside. Charlie, come here, say hi. What are you doing, huh? So I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about what Gary Vee has been pushing, of course, over the years. He has been very consistent, especially for the last year, about content model.
Let's talk about VBM. Volume model was very important to me to establish about a year ago for a lot of reasons, but if you play all the chess moves, it's because when I hear that term, I don't think that that's a thing in the way that I and we have positioned it. I think it really means best in class digital creative work. There is no debate. I will continue to say what I said a year ago, especially because a lot of you weren't here. This is what actually works creatively on the internet, and the internet really matters. Love you guys.
And that being that just put out as much information on many different platforms and don't worry so much about quality. Now, I know he doesn't truly mean that from a perspective that it should just be garbage or that the content that you're providing shouldn't be quality, right? He's very much about being not selfish about what you make, provide that information. You know, he'll suggest to do a podcast and then to videotape that podcast. So that way you can, of course, release your podcast. You can take the video, put it on YouTube, then you can take snippets of that information. You're able to put it on Instagram or maybe on LinkedIn and utilize that. And I love that model because I am not a real detailed oriented person. I do not deal with perfectionism, which a lot of content creators can have, artsy people can have, that they get caught up in the production of their work and they're just constantly doing revisions and looking at it. And I'm blessed that I don't have that problem. But sometimes I know I wish that I was a little more detail oriented, a little more perfectionism, because I would want to make good content. But I love it. Back in December, I did something called Vlogmas, and I made a video every day, which is really part of the reason I'm as comfortable as I am in front of the camera as I am now, where I made a video every day, talking to the camera, practicing, and putting that content out there. And I really do like the idea and the model because even if you may not get as many views or engagements on one particular thing that you make, from a content perspective, right, the volume can turn that number higher, right? Because you're getting in front of more people, you have more chances, right? Algorithms are interesting, right? That you may make a super masterpiece and you might post it, but it doesn't get it in front of very many people. Where if you do create more content, you have the chance to get that content in front of more people. And the great thing about video or audio is content is king, right? It's not necessarily about how fancy it is, how well put together it is. It's about the content that is in that video or that podcast or that Instagram post, right? And you see that constantly with Gary Vee. He'll tweet something, then he'll take that, or his team will take a picture of the tweet literally and post that straight to Instagram, which does well. They're taking these sound bites and they're just posting it. Now, he does have a creative team, and I like to see the different ways that they engage to still align from another YouTube channel. Repeat equals defeat, right? In the social media world, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it kind of gets boring and people start to ignore it. So changing up how you do it, you have different churches doing that. Elevation Church does a great thing. Their team and they're use different models where they're using snippets of the pastor preaching, but they're always providing it in different ways. You'll be watching stories from Elevation Church, and then all of a sudden the story turns sideways, right? It engages you, it keeps you there to stay longer, to watch longer, which then in turn does help in the algorithm perspective because it then we'll think people are watching it because they're staying around. So I love that. They're always going back to retro styles. They're changing the styles. They're always posting things differently, which is good. And the team is doing that because it keeps you on your toes and it keeps you engaged to what you're seeing, and you don't get used to it. But that does deal with, you have to make content, right? You have to make a lot of it, post it out to different things to where you're comfortable with. And the other thing I want to mention is, again, something that Gary Vee was just talking about, and that's about tailoring what you post for the platform you're on. I think that can be very hard for creators, that we do all this work where we make these videos for a certain platform, right? We want to have our perspective, our artistic approach. But as he put it, if you're posting on LinkedIn, which I've not been real active on LinkedIn, right? But I can tell even from the amount of time recently that I've started spending on there, started reading, started looking, right? That it's a business mindset platform, right? So you can't just be posting whatever you want on there, just artistic pictures or artistic-y videos, right? It has to provide impact. It has to be of value to the people that are on there, and your mindset when you get on LinkedIn is different, right? If I get onto Instagram and I'm cruising around looking at things, right? I'm looking at pictures, I'm looking at quotes, I'm looking from a photography perspective, things that I like. But if I'm on LinkedIn, that's not what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking at either developing my network, I'm looking to gain an experience or knowledge from a business perspective, right? Completely different. Me, I'm of the older class, I guess, so I'm on Facebook, right? I like to read Facebook. I read it for news, but I also like to see it for family and friends information, right? So my mindset's a little different when I'm on Facebook. I'm more apt to watch, videos of kids and dogs and things like that. It can be more creative or just still thought invoking, right? I do engage in things that are thought evoking or different video classics, but there's a lot of comedy on there as well. If you're on TikTok, right? I'm not that big experience with TikTok, but I have it and I look at it a few times, and it's just a bunch of silly stuff, right? And it is definitely a different mindset when I'm looking for a laugh, short snippets, short videos, and what would work on that platform. So, but I think it can be a challenge, but a worthy attempt to try and take the content to focus in on what you make and how do you repackage the videos or the podcasts or the articles that you write, and see how you can utilize each one in a specific way to reach and touch people on different platforms. So I just want to ask you to subscribe, like the video, stick around. Let's go on this journey together. God bless.